Back to Barbara Olshner. During the 2008 campaign, President Obama told Joe the plumber that he thought it was a good idea to spread the wealth around. Now, what do you think of the federal government's efforts to redistribute wealth in the United States, and how should we, as Republicans, respond to these attempts?
Well, I think if we all vote Republican and retake the Congress, maybe we can tell them that we don't mind helping people who are disadvantaged, but we do not believe in helping people who can help themselves. This redistribution of wealth undermines the greatness of this country, undermines the entrepreneurial spirit in this country, and it's what I was speaking of in my opening remark. It is an agenda that is moving forward. It is not just to redistribute the wealth, that's fine, but that is not really where they want to stop. They want to get to the place where we have really lost our rights under the Constitution. And we've got to fight for everything in this country that made it great. We are the greatest country in the world. We are a kind and compassionate country. We're a brave country. And we need to fight for those things that make America great and not be ashamed of it. And redistributing the wealth is not what made us great.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Olshner. Dave Scholl, what do you think of the federal government's efforts to redistribute wealth in the United States, and how should we as Republicans respond to these attempts?
Well, naturally, as a Republican, I'm definitely against the redistribution of the wealth. America is all about equal opportunity. It does not guarantee equal achievement. We all know that only comes with hard work, preparation, and being willing to take risks. What Obama's doing, he's continuing on with his one world philosophy, whereby he will make the world a safer place by weakening America. They cannot do that unless government controls every individual aspect of an American's life. And he cannot do that if you as an entrepreneur are out there creating great solutions where people want to come and buy your product, where your family's out doing what they want to do and enjoying their lives. President Obama is not an American. I don't know what he is, but I'm having a difficult time. But the most thing I know is, as a retired Air Force officer, I do know that he is not red, white, and blue.
Thank you very much, Mr. Scholl. Eddie Hendry, what do you think of the federal government's efforts to redistribute wealth in the United States, and how should we as Republicans respond to these attempts?
Well, if I was Joe the plumber, I would ask President Obama, how do you have the gall to take the money I earned and give it to people who don't earn it? Americans will take care of Americans, either by their families, or by individuals, or by faith-based organizations. We will take care of each other. The people in need is a small percentage, and we will take care of. We have throughout our history. I also want to put in the fair tax so that everybody is treated equally when they're paying the tax. It'll also create an economic boom. But we've got to let people live the American dream. In America, it's okay to fail because you can bring yourself back up by the bootstraps. You get another chance. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hendry. Ron McNeil, what do you think of the federal government's efforts to redistribute wealth in the United States, and how should we as Republicans respond to these attempts?
Well, the story of Robin Hood works pretty good in a movie, but it doesn't work real good in real life. Is the way I feel about it. If you take away personal initiatives, and this whole thing about the wealth is so that it's real easy to say, well, let's just take from the top 10%, who pays 72%, by the way, and I'm not in the top 10%, but I think we ought to get off their backs for a while. But the fact is, when a few people are going to pay all the money, it's easy to say, well, let's just make all those rich people pay it. Well, those rich people are people who were creative and worked their tails off to build businesses. You know, they're the Bill Gateses and all the rest of these people in the world who's trying to get every American a job who wants one. And so we've got to go back to free enterprise. That's the only hope we've got of building a big country and a good country is the free enterprise system that was set up originally for this country. And I don't believe in redistribution of wealth. I believe in us getting out and work.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. McNeil. And finally, Steve Sutherland, what do you think of the federal government's efforts to redistribute wealth in the United States, and how should we as Republicans respond to these attempts?
I think this crowd knows, as a businessman whose family owns and operates 3 businesses, I think you can connect the dots there. I think that redistribution is flat out evil. It is evil. And it is time that we call things like this what it is. This country and our Judeo-Christian principles have always honored hard work. I tell my children that, you know what? There was work in the Garden of Eden before the fall. In God's perfect utopia, man is working. And in this country, if you don't work, you don't eat. That has always been a principle that has been a guideline of this country. I believe that we have got to get back to rewarding those who risk, rewarding those who work, and penalizing those who want a nanny state to meet their every need. And that's all I got to say about that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sutherland. Now, we've had 6 questions about domestic policy. We need to move on to a few questions about foreign policy. And we will start with Dave Scholl. What is your view, Mr. Scholl, on how the Obama administration is handling the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, and how would you handle the situation?
I think he's doing a great job. He's continuing with the Bush policy. He has not changed it one bit. And that's one campaign promise I'm glad that he has decided to break. We're seeing great improvement with Iraq. We're starting to see things settle down there. Our troops are stabilizing it. The Iraqi forces are standing up. We need to continue that. With regards to what we should do in stabilizing that situation, we need to let Iran know in no uncertain terms that the United States, through a deployment of a missile defense shield, will stand beside our allies in the Middle East. That will calm things down quite a bit in the Middle East sector. With regards to Afghanistan, I'm impressed by what General McChrystal is doing. He's bringing the troops out of garrison, and we are having an impact. I'm troubled that he requested 50,000 combat troops. President Obama provided 30,000 combat and administrative troops. More importantly, I'm troubled with the fact that he also announced the date that we would begin withdrawing our people. So I don't know if the success that we're seeing in Afghanistan is because Afghanistan, Taliban is standing down, or our troops are being effective. It's disingenuous on the president's part.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Scholl. Eddie Hendry. What is your view on how the Obama administration is handling the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, and how would you handle the situation?
Well, let me first start off by saying I think our biggest security risk is President Obama. I think he knows nothing about the military. He needs to leave the military decisions to the military officers. When they ask for troops, he sends them troops. If they're not doing what they're supposed to, we'll replace that officer with another officer. We're at a war on terrorism. It's going to go on a long time. Iran's a state sponsor of terror, Hezbollah. We need to get the missile defense shield up. We need to increase our military spending and to make it 4% of gross domestic product. We need to upgrade our Navy. We need to upgrade our fighters. You're very familiar with that. The F-15s are getting ready to leave Tyndall if they're not already. We need to modernize our Army. We need to increase the troop strength. We need to empower the people of Afghanistan to take care of their own problems. We'll be there to help you, but you'll have to step up to the plate and do more.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hendry. Ron McNeil, what is your view on how the Obama administration is handling the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, and how would you handle the situation?
I'd probably just about pass out if I said Obama was handling anything good in this nation. You couldn't get any more disgusted. I don't care if the guy's green. I don't care what they're. I just care about how people think and what to do, what the actions are, and what the results are. We can't be the world's police force. They're going to have to stand up for their own selves in a lot of places. If we spent the money that we spent on all these wars these last few years, we could have built the Great Wall of China all the way around the entire United States, but nobody get in. So we've done things wrong. Okay, and I'm glad that we're over there fighting. We're going to go over there and fight. We're going to fight so hard that they don't never want to see us come back to their country. You know, I played college basketball, and I was the guy at the end of the game on the dadgum ball. We need to give him a ball over there. They'll remember.
All right, thank you, Mr. McNeil. Now,